Hi there. I would like to talk to you about the reviews concerning Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls game number 5 in the series. Now, one Matt Barton, who has this channel on gaming, where he does all these interviews with legendary creators of legendary games, has recently released a podcast where he discusses the negative sides of Skyrim, or the low points in Skyrim, and a lot of these points are not really fleshed out in the regular reviews on IGN and GameSpot and all these sites. Looking at the Metacritic, as far as that says anything, but Skyrim gets a 9.5 as an estimate, but Matt Barton says that there are some aspects of the game that are not that good, and it's basically really a funny podcast, and I'll post a link below this video where you can actually listen to him ranting about Skyrim and basically killing the whole game, and I don't know, hitting it over and over again and spitting on it and leaving it for dead. Really, he really hates Skyrim. Now, I'm not hating Skyrim. I've started playing it. I don't hate it, but I think he has some points that are actually, I think, true. Well, first of all, something he says that it's kind of weird that in 2011, the world of Skyrim has all these books lying around, and you can read them as text. And reading text, playing the game on Xbox or PS3, reading text on a TV screen is not an ideal way of reading. Now there are some fans of the game that have put all the books online in a PDF or a doc file, or another format, I don't know, so you could read those in your e-reader. But it's just kind of weird, and I do agree with that. It's nitpicking, but it's true that reading text from a screen, a lot of text, all these background stories, and I must say Bethesda obviously has spent a lot of time putting those in, but reading them from the TV just makes no sense. So why not make a audio file out of that so people can actually listen to the stories? Another thing he says is that the world of Skyrim is pretty dark and grim, and it's part of Skyrim. It's the northern part of the game world, and but he says that it's just not fun. Playing a game like this would be fun to start out in a beautiful world or a nice place to be, like more or less in Oblivion, and then moving on to the darker parts, so you could actually feel the progression in the game to this epic conclusion. And I can feel that, because Skyrim is pretty dark and gloomy and rainy and all that. So it's just not I wouldn't want to live there. So would I want to play in that world? Would I want to play and spend, I don't know, 200 hours in this world? So yeah, I can feel where this is coming from. It's the same issue that I had with Fallout 3, bleak future world where everything is destroyed and all that. So moving on, then he says that all the crafting, the cooking, is pretty cumbersome because you need all these ingredients and you need to find them, and some of the ingredients like salt are very rare, so it feels like work. And a lot of people play games because just for fun, and they don't want to feel like work. I have to cook my meal every day, and why should I do that in Skyrim? It's optional, of course, but it just not really adds to the overall game experience. It does add to the realism, of course, of the world of Skyrim. On the other hand, the use of magic should make things a lot easier, don't you think? You know, magic, a lot of you know, you can have magic spells in both hands with fire and all that. So it's kind of weird that these chores are still requiring you to put in a lot of time. Horseback. Horseback is not a problem. According to Matt Barton, he says horseback is not as it's not really faster than walking, and it's kind of weird that your companions have to walk right after you. They don't or can't use horseback. You can't fight from riding a horse or use spells, which is something I think is really weird, because there were mods for Oblivion that allowed you to pull this off, you know, basically fight from your horse. And it's weird that Skyrim doesn't capitalize on this mod that has already been available some years ago. So moving on, the dragons. Yeah, it seems that after 10 minutes in game or something like that, you'll meet your first dragon, which is quite fast in the game. And he says, literally, he says, you know, it's like masturbating before having sex, which he means by that is that they throw this dragon right at you at the beginning of the game, and it would be nice if they build up the story and that the dragon would be some kind of boss you would encounter. And it's just kind of weird that after that all these random encounters with dragons appear or occur, and they appear and you have to fight them. It would be nice to have a certain context if you work your way to a certain a place in the world where you need to fight your first dragon, and with lots of good music. Speaking of music, Barton thinks that the music in Skyrim is not very memorable, and he says, you know, if you can hum the music, then it's memorable, and if you stop playing the game, there aren't a lot of tunes that you will remember. And he says that music is really a part of the game design, a very important part of game design, as it sets the mood and the feel of the game, and can make things very dramatic in certain situations. So yeah, he has some other points, like menu system is very cumbersome. It's not really easy to use. The loading screens, that if you go in and out of buildings, then you still have to wait for the game to load, which I think is it's a big world. I understand that little loading is required, so I don't have a problem with that. But I can see where he's coming from. This is it's 2011. There are games out there that require less loading, but on the other hand, it's not that vast land mass of a game that is right available in the beginning of the game. So these are his points, and it's funny to see that you just don't get these negative things of the game, which give the game more of an overall rating, taking these things in account as well. On one hand, the positive things as well as the negative things. So it's just a shame that these reviewers don't really take the time and actually take a step back from the game. That obviously sucks them in, and you enjoy it a lot. But sometimes you just need to take your time and step back and see what are the other things that other people might have a problem with. So these are the things that Matt Barton has said in his podcast. As said, I put a link in the description. Check it out, listen to it. I think he has some fair points. And that's it for me. So thanks for watching. I always appreciate you taking the time, watch my videos, and see you next time.